Hello and welcome to Charter Local Edition Northwest. Today the crew is in Olympia and we're talking to your elected officials about what they're working on for you. My guest today is from Walla Walla, Maureen Walsh. Thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
You've had some experience now being in the legislature for several years, and how is this year compared to the other years?
Well, this is my first year. I'm a freshman again. I've been over here for 24 straight sessions. This will be my 25th session in a row. And I'm a freshman in the Senate, which is a whole different world, but it's fun and exciting, and I'm really enjoying the new atmosphere and the new people that I'm working with. It's really been wonderful.
And it freshens it up for you.
It does.
After all these years of service.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think, I was getting pretty complacent in the House there, and so this is a new experience, kind of fun. And again, it's a different world, and they operate differently. You wouldn't think so, because we have the same task before us to pass bills, but it's done differently procedurally. There's a little more formality in the Senate, and I'm enjoying it. It's been very interesting.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
And then your primary efforts so far. Tell us what you've accomplished so far.
Well, to be honest with you, I sort of gave up the opportunity to work on the early learning committee in the Senate, because I've worked on early learning ever since its inception in the House, and it's kind of been my bailiwick. It is my passion, and frankly, it's got a groundswell movement of its own now. It's moving forward. People are understanding and recognizing the benefit of preschool for kids and getting them ready for kindergarten. It just it sets them on the right track, and frankly, it's also a way to help empower parents to raise their own children. I think we do a lot of intervention work with families that are undergoing some form of dysfunction, and I think the early learning and the early education is great for parents too, because it really teaches them some of the tricks and tools of the trade for how to successfully communicate with your kids. And I think it's a great idea. I think we need to empower parents to raise their own children so that the state doesn't have to do so much of that.
Well, especially the first child. I mean, who knows how to raise the first child? Unless you have had quite a bit of experience.
That's right.
It looks different than it actually is.
It's a great sense of responsibility, and I don't think everyone has that. Everyone thinks women have some kind of a maternal, instinct or something, and fathers too, for the same matter. But I know that was the most vulnerable time in my life, is when my kids were little.
Well, you do get promptings, you do get inspiration, there are things you can do, but that doesn't mean that you don't need to be educated on the mechanics of it. That's like saying I'm trying to work on my car and I'm hoping that my inspiration and promptings will get my car running. It would be nice to have a class.
That's right, that's right. And that's kind of what this is about, is just kind of this realization that, we've got to read to our kids at night, and there are just a lot of good things you can do with your little ones to get them ready for school, and we just think it's the right thing to do, and I think a lot of people have joined in that effort, and that momentum is strong to make sure that we have strong early learning, and frankly, child care is quality in this state.
Yes. And then transportation, budget, other big issues you're working on too?
I'm on the Transportation Committee this year, and really enjoy working on that committee. The chair, Senator King, is a wonderful guy and just very gracious. I also serve
Works across the aisle.
Yeah, he does, which that's kind of how I operate too, and always have. And I think that's the nice thing maybe about the Senate that I probably should have mentioned before, is they do work in a very bipartisan and collaborative way. That's not to say we don't have our issues that sometimes crop up and cause a little dissension among the ranks, but ultimately there is a greater kind of camaraderie with the 49 members in the Senate that I've kind of noted, so it's great. I serve on mental health and housing, and I also serve on the healthcare committee this year, and that's really interesting because I think healthcare is going to take on a whole different look with the federal administration coming in and the overturn or revision to the ACA, Obamacare. I think we are going to have some interesting adventures. A lot of unknowns. That's the best way to put it. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so for your constituents, things they can expect to see out of the transportation package that might affect the greater Tri-Cities Walla Walla area?
Well, we did the $16 billion package for transportation that I voted for a couple of years ago. So some of those projects are now kind of kicking in time-wise. I'm trying to get a little bit of an expedition of the Lewis Street overpass in Tri-Cities. They've asked to see if they could maybe move the funding up a little bit because they're ready to go, and that is a a place that needs desperate attention. It's a very bad part of the access into the community in Pasco that it's very important we take care of that.
Well, yes, and the use there is growing, you know.
Yeah,
it's like all
yeah.
the kids go there to perform in schools, the farmers market, getting down to do the shopping in the area.
That's
and,
right.
You know, expanded use.
That's exactly right. So they've got a big project they need a little bit of the design money, and so I'm hoping we're able to secure some of that out of the $26 million that project will cost.
Well, Maureen, thank you for joining us. We
My
appreciate
pleasure.
you being here. This is Maureen Walsh in the Senate. I'm Dana Cowley in Olympia, and you're watching Charter Local Edition Northwest. Thanks for being with us.